All right, welcome to another Bible study in the Transformation in Christ series. This week we're going to be talking about holy meekness. This is yet another example of von Hildebrandt taking a Christian virtue directly from the Sermon on the Mount. He says that this virtue totally turns the world on its head. Jesus overcame the power of sin, not by force, but by his death on the cross. Not by insisting on his own right, but being gentle in the face of accusations, violence, and even death. So once again, von Hildebrandt talks about what meekness is not. First, it's not a naturally phlegmatic person. That is not the same as being meek. They are dull and insensitive to the violence and wrong, and therefore lack a proper awareness. They don't respond because they don't feel the wrong. A meek person, on the other hand, feels the weight of the wrongs against them, but remains gentle in the face of them. Likewise, jovial people are not truly meek, but take things in a positive way out of a deep need for outward peace and harmony. This obviously leads to superficiality. The stoic person is also not a good example because they are outwardly gentle through indifference and self-discipline, and these are considered as ends in themselves. True meekness is born out of an internal love for others. To have an attitude of hate in our hearts towards people, yet control our outward action, is not and cannot be meekness. Even if we control our outward actions and battle against our inner anger, we can only be said to be pursuing meekness rather than possessing it. It's only when we truly act out of love that we can be said to be meek. Meekness opposes any sort of violence or force to move or motivate others. This includes manipulation and even helping others, if motivated to try and compel them to convert, is an act of violence by this definition. The same is true even in our own character, that we may try and force ourselves to obey rather than surrender to God's working in our lives. Meekness understands that force is totally powerless in the spiritual realm. It longs for two things: union and well-wishing. In other words, that we would be in true relationship with that other person, and secondly, that we would truly want what's best for them. That characterizes meekness. When attacked, the meek person does not practice fight or flight, but supernaturally leaves their heart open to their enemy. This is in contrast with sulking, where the person remains soft to the wrong done to them, not out of a sense that it is wrong, but because it hurt them personally. For the meek, the hurt is heightened because of the unloving attitude of the other person. They see the wrong not so much done to them, but the wrong that is in the other person's attitude towards us. Patience, as discussed earlier, is also required for true gentleness, as we have to acknowledge that God alone is sovereign and rules over time. We cannot force a solution, even one that is good. We have to allow it to unfold. This is true in our dealings with creation as well. A gentle person will never so much as abuse an animal, but treat them kindly, because force is not God's way. The victory is won, not when the sheep kill the wolves, but when they convert them. That's this week's lesson.